According to the CDC, women in America gave birth to 4.3 million babies in 2007. That is the highest number ever on record, and a quarter of those babies went home to 2 or 3 siblings. All this causes some in the medical community to worry that perhaps many moms are becoming bumpaholics, women addicted to pregnancy. Joining me now with more on this is Belisa Vranic, a women's health contributor and clinical psychologist. Belisa, thanks so much for coming back on the show.
Thank you.
So, a bumpaholic, a woman addicted to pregnancy, would perhaps Octomom fall into that category?
Oh, I think she does. And it's a complicated definition, but it's one that we're definitely seeing more and more. And those numbers are the first things you should look at. The 4.3 million babies, that's the most ever. And if you think about it, what's really surprising is that the moms there were becoming moms for the 3rd or 4th time. And then in combination with our sort of little obsession with pregnancies, if you look at the celebrity weeklies, bump watches, who's pregnant, how pregnant are they, how do they look, what month are they in, we are sort of obsessed with pregnancies.
Absolutely. So how do we then determine when a woman has become addicted to pregnancy or whether she just wants a big family?
Well, when she's addicted to the pregnancy, she really, really loves the feeling of being pregnant. Those 9 months, the chemicals that she has in her body, the hormones, oxytocin, the neurotransmitters, dopamine, really make her happy, sometimes even happier than she is when she's not pregnant. So that's definitely one of the first and most important things.
And certainly, having been pregnant twice myself, you get a lot of outside adulation. People just come to you and say, oh, congratulations. It's a wonderful feeling.
It's a wonderful feeling.
So I can see why people would want to replicate that. But but normally you would temper the desire to be pregnant again with the reality of the fact that more children means more work, and you know, so these women, you say, are blind to that aspect of
They're
motherhood.
not looking at the financial. They're not saying, can we afford this child? They're not saying, do we have the space for this child? Those moms aren't saying, is my life becoming completely mommy-centric, so I'm losing track of the dreams I had? And how's my relationship with my spouse, my partner? Is that okay? Am I including him in my little twosome with my baby or my 2 or 3 babies? So bumpaholics won't do things in a reasonable way where they're actually making the decision with their spouse, with their partner.
So are clinical psychologists looking at this as an addiction similar to alcoholism, drug use?
Well, it's not as hazardous or as life-threatening, obviously, as a drug addiction, but it definitely has repercussions on your family, on your marriage, and on the other children.
So is there treatment available?
The treatment is some really hard soul searching. So whether you do it in a group setting with other women, whether you decide to go to couples counseling or individual counseling, it's something that moms really need to think about when they're going for their 2nd or 3rd or 4th pregnancy, to say, do I really want this child? Do I really want my family to be bigger? Or is it the pregnancy that I really love, the feelings, the attention that I'm getting, and really figure it out before they make that hard decision.
It's interesting because I would imagine that, you know, when you are pregnant and you have all this attention and all of this adulation, after you have the child, some of that goes away because it's a strange thing, actually. People open doors for you when you're pregnant, but when you're pushing a baby stroller, they sort of ignore you. It's very interesting. So I can see how perhaps the depression that may sometimes for some women set in after, you know, a little bit of the postpartum depression could lead them to think, oh, maybe I just need to get pregnant again, get those hormones running again, you know, boost my spirits again.
Well, the bumpaholics, what they keep thinking about is the pregnancy, is how good they felt while they were pregnant. Just all the attention that they got from everyone, this rock star attention, that they were able to be curvy, and your hair grows, your skin gets great, you're looking forward to that baby shower. So they really focus on that time without thinking, this is going to result in another infant, and can my family handle this? Does my entire family want this? They really focus on those 9 months where you do get a lot of attention, and you know, it can be addictive.
Why do you think that this is a phenomenon that's happening now in this day and age? What is it about our society now? Because, you know, being pregnant and all of these feelings have always existed, obviously. So why are more women getting pregnant more often now?
I think there's a tremendous amount of pressure for women to think about their careers and their marriages also. It's a tough one. Marriages, keeping them together, keeping them good is a tough one. So sometimes they can hide in the pregnancies and not have to think about the careers, not have to think about how their relationship is going, and sort of hide behind the pregnancy and the baby.
I think that is actually a very good point. I have a friend of mine who told me recently, you know, she was reaching her mid-30s and her career perhaps wasn't panning out exactly the way she'd hoped, and she said, you know, if I just have a baby, then there's a new identity for me. And I thought that's very interesting, but there's a good point to that, because if you're not achieving, and people are getting pregnant later, if you're not achieving the career goals that you wanted, suddenly here's a new identity for you, mother.
And it's an easy one.
Easy one and an accepted one, and a lot of people will give you a lot of attention for it. So.
And they'll open doors for you.
Absolutely. Where is the study of the bumpaholic, of the mother who's addicted to pregnancy, going? What's the next step?
But the next step is looking at sort of the interventions that women can look for, what they can do instead of going to that next pregnancy. Are there other things they can do that will help them feel good that's not getting pregnant again?
So how does a woman then, if she's feeling the urge to get pregnant again, what are some questions she should ask herself?
She needs to ask herself, when I think back to the pregnancy, am I obsessing about how good I looked and how good I felt? Am I thinking more about the pregnancy than the baby that comes afterwards? And have I stopped my dreams of what I'd like to do in life? And am I focusing more on me and my baby to the exclusion of my spouse and my partner?
Great questions to ask. Belisa Vanek, thank you so much. Great seeing you again. And for the full article on pregnancy addiction, be sure to check out Women's Health, and you can always visit the health page at abcnews.com.
ABC News Now. Good to know.